Alright, it's Sunday. We're back for more Star Wars The Old Republic, playing our Mandalorian bounty hunter. Or I guess technically we're just a bounty hunter? Well, no, we don't know, I guess. But we joined at least the group under Mandalore, so we met him already. So that's yeah, we're Mandalorians, I guess. Yeah, I guess we can start then. Weird thing. Um, just random thought that occurred to me as I was setting up for stream that I didn't have time to look up or anything. You know how there's certain units in the world that are basically they're they come from nature. So it's like some units are just someone made it up. You know, like the foot is basically some king going, okay, this is the length of my foot, and I'll have everyone use that for measuring. And so I can just put one foot in front of the other, and that way measure a distance for like certain shorter things. And other measurements were just, well, we've taken a length of string and rolled it around our lower arm for a couple of times and used that, and then everyone copied that length of string or whatever, you know, for longer distances. So they kind of come from nature in that they vaguely correspond to some humans' dimensions. But like if you look, a foot is about 30 centimeters, and what is that, like size 13 or something? I don't know. It sounds like a. I don't actually know US sizes. I just know that I think I'm a. What is it, 7 or 8? So I just added a bunch. So don't. I have tiny feet, so don't feel offended if 13 is actually still regular size. I don't really have a good scale, but like I know, like I think adding. Well, anyway, but so there are certain units that depend on. Let's full screen this because I'm really bullshitting and it has nothing to do with the game. Um, so yeah, we have some units that are just, you know, made up or vaguely relate to something that people had with them, but you know, since people are different sizes within certain ranges, some of these units are very different in different countries. I mean, they have different names, but also they have they are just like in absolutes different numbers because they were never they were just based on some random person that just came up with it. Whereas there are other units that are based on you know, like certain physical things. Like for example, a year is the rotation of a planet around the sun, and that has like a causes recurring weather patterns in general. So it was something observable, and like after a decade or two, people had figured out, okay, about this time, like 365-ish days. The problem, of course, is days are rotations of the planet itself, and they're not really related to the planet's rotation around its sun. So it's not an even match, and I think I've, you know, talked about this in other contexts before. But like, so every culture on Earth basically has uh, years, and it has days because those were easy to observe. It gets dark, it gets light again, there's a day. And They also often have the concept of, or yeah, of months, because that was something else observable, that the little satellite that we have that circles the Earth, um, that kind of has um, that gets more or less light on it, and that repeats over and over again. So, and that is, roughly 28 days. And so that's where our months come from, like moon month, that is the same root. And so all these things are really things that are observable. But here's the weird thing. So we have the day, and it got split up into, there's day and night, of course. There's the phase of darkness and the phase of light. That was easy to observe. And the light area was split up into 12, which makes sense because 4 fingers, 1 thumb, 3 segments, 3 times 4 is 12. So people were able to count it on one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a lot of things were based on base 12. One. Can I show this somehow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's more difficult than you'd think to point at your own finger, like looking at the camera. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, of course, that's that. So we have 12 hours in a day and in a night. That kind of makes sense. But then you look at how we measure time, and you go, wait. When do we start counting? We start counting at noon. And so I just realized, like, why do we start counting at noon? Of course, noon is kind of one easy thing to observe, because you have that point where you go like, okay, now it's the highest it will ever be, and now it has started coming down. So that's where you go, okay, now we had noon. So basically you can detect by looking at how the sun circles, now it's starting to come down again, so we're in the afternoon. So kind of the apex of that circle, that totally makes sense. But then why don't we start counting at dawn and stop counting at night? So that confuses me a bit. I don't know, maybe it's just that, but that seems like kind of an arbitrary decision. Like, I can kind of sort of say, maybe it was this, but I guess I have to look up after stream why it is this way. So, like, my best explanation would be, first, people observed, like, morning is here, evening is here, noon is in the middle. That was easy to observe. Night was just night, and without much, artificial light or anything, it was hard to measure. And so I guess they had this, and then they realized that days were shorter in winter and longer in summer. And so they went, okay, we have to find some time where we can average it. And keep in mind, there were other ways of measuring time. So you had like hourglasses, which were filled either with sand or with water. And so if you have like a pipe of a certain thickness and a reservoir at the top and an empty reservoir at the bottom, it will take the same time, no matter whether it's day or night or summer or winter, it will take the same time for the water to dribble down. So I guess that's how they figured out that sometimes days were longer and sometimes days were shorter. And then they went, okay, I guess we'll pin it at noon, and then measure hourglasses from noon to noon,
xenophobia, genocide,
and then divide that
I can hardly believe
by
it.
24, 12 for the day and 12 for the night.
I had this same
And that way you got noon and midnight,
What?
which
Yes.
stayed the same basically, and sunset and sunrise
The
different.
Republic would beat me to it. Didn't think they had it in them.
And so I guess since noon and sunset, they knew it was moving. Sunrise and sunset, where they knew they were moving. Then they went, okay, we'll just use the middle noon. But I wonder, like, you know, would if you were trying to do world building in a science fiction universe like Star Wars, would you maybe, let me just have to be a little careful with this because I dropped it earlier, and so it might be slightly under pressure if I open it too quickly. But I think it worked out. All right. So yeah. So I wonder if it would make sense in world building to go, hey, in this planet they actually just decided to start counting at sunrise. You know, like as soon as it gets bright enough to see your sundial, you start counting the hours. Because like a sundial measures time, but of course it measures shorter in winter and longer in summer. So the hours aren't quite accurate. And hello, Ada. Yeah, so random thoughts I had while setting up for stream. Oh, we got a message from someone. Weird, why didn't we see that before? Why is that backdated? That's weird. Kita Kren, to my sibling in the stars. As I laid in our mingled blood, I heard the thunder of your confrontation with our brother echo throughout the bones of the dreadnought. It pained me not to be there to see it to its conclusion, to wonder what remained after all fell silent. I know now you were the victor, and I am glad the blooding did not take you both from me. The stars are too large and lonely to travel alone. The White Maw holds nothing for me now that Renegade is gone. I have left them to their hapless plundering while I find my way. Until our paths cross again, I will think of you as I walk the sky. Okay, that was the guy who we had to best before we could attack Renegade was. And he said, okay, I concede, you win. And that was it. Oh, you didn't see that, sorry. I forgot to switch back to this. Okay, so we got an email, and it arrived. It is here in the list, which is a little weird. But I guess they're all from last stream, and I guess they don't actually record the exact time, and just record the day. And so when we came back, they just arrived in some database order or something. I still find, like, this, I don't think, I'm not sure, I mean, we started this playthrough long enough ago that maybe it was in this playthrough, in the first couple streams, that I mentioned that first, but, like, if you look at what you need for a massively multiplayer online, what is it? MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Okay, somehow brain didn't want to brain. So in any MMORPG, you kind of end up like you need to have you need to send messages between the server and the player's game application on their computer. And some of these messages need to be guaranteed. They are transactions. Either the message has to be accepted on the server and the consequences have to apply, or they don't. Like if a message that, for example, I just took this item out of my inventory and gave it to another player, if that registers that I took the item out, but doesn't register that it was given to the other player because, for example, you know, the server crashes or anything, then that's a problem, because that might be a paid item that I bought in the cash store here, you know, on the cartel market. And I'd be angry if I paid, like, what is it, 54... That's about $54, I guess. For cartel crates or whatever, and then they just poof disappear. You can't have that in a game. Your players will get angry. And if you were trading with someone else and they gave you something for it, they will be angry if you don't have the item anymore and didn't give it to them and they didn't get it, you know. So what you want is what are these objectives here? Defeat Anomid gang members. It's a bit away from me. I'm a bit confused because I only see animals. I guess this might be on the hill. Yeah, anyway, so in games you need messages that are guaranteed to arrive, and you need messages between the game and players, and the mechanisms you need for that also work for messages between players, which is why so many MMOs have in-game mail, because that's basically the foundational mechanism is already needed. It's just what gets transported in the message that is different. Of course, there is some extra work, you know, the user interfaces and everything, but
trouble on the way.
So it's a fundamental thing of that you need. In any MMO. And so I don't know, I just like being a programmer. I kind of find it intriguing that there's such an elegance, that the basic thing is already in there for mail and is needed for something else. Of course, like storing messages on the server, you might think is different than, you know, something else, but you already store things in a smaller dimension and in a more predictable way, but you already store, for example, like the experience a player has. Down here it is, at the very bottom. Like, it shows that I have, what is it, 295,529 experience of 385 experience points, which is what I need to have for this level. So, yeah, when you have these things... Does that count? We'll have 5 of 10. I think that counted. And now this other person should have passed. So I should be able to return to them. Yeah, and then, you know, like you wonder, like, this mail that I can read at the mail stations, the emails, some of them come from the game. So the question is, do you send them as regular email? So basically, do you copy all the story messages every time into text and then store them as text? Or do you maybe just
Not just the pretty sidekick, Buster.
or do you maybe just you know, make special in-game messages that just reference text in like your in the game app and just say, you know, this is you know, this message is built of these three parts because I made these three decisions, or rather it's the intro, my decision, and then the outro. So the middle text is customized, and then only as I call up the email it goes, oh, okay, I need to show it. I guess one way to see that would be if I switched languages. If these emails suddenly change language, then I know they just transfer. It's the confirmation manage for quest number 76 of the Bounty Hunter storyline, with these three decisions inserted in certain spots in the message. So that would be one option. All right, did we get enough of you? Yeah, okay. We still have to destroy their equipment. Okay, so we go to everyone who has a blue box. Sorry, Doctor Who. But yeah, I know that might sound more exciting to me, you know, as a programmer who just like thinks, oh man, this is elegant, and a cool way to use the same part in a game for multiple things. Okay. The cozy... Oh, this one actually doesn't work. Sorry, guys. I thought you were part of my quest. This is a bit awkward, because, like, the other things have been destroyed? Or no, we only needed to destroy 2. Okay, so that's why. Okay. Never mind, I didn't count. Sorry. And the game doesn't let you. Oh, this is kind of cool. With the scenery going up that hill and it kind of like turning all a shade of blue as you go farther away, kind of to to make it look more in the distance. I like that. But yeah, anyway. It's kind of cool just how... Like, the problem with MMOs, you know, like, I would love to make an MMO. But it's also... I'm aware that it is a very... It's a lot of work. And so what I've done in the past is I've tried to build like individual systems just to get a feel for how they work. And you know, like if you look at, like, in general, to make a game engine, what you need is at least graphics, sound, and input, and then, you know, a little bit of adding, subtracting, or multiplying. Nothing really that deserves the name mathematics. To, you know, like, do, you know, to keep track of damage and things like that. So it's really, like, especially in MMO-like games, you know, you need, like, okay, I have a shield that shaves off 5 damage from every shot, and so whenever something hits, you go, okay, how much damage does this shot do? 20. My shield shaves up 5, so there's 15 left, and so those 15 go off the health, or whatever. So it's really not that much. And maybe you have an item that, like, doubles your shield, then you have to do ×2. But, like, there's no, you know, there's no cosine or anything in there. There's just adding and subtracting and maybe a little multiplying or dividing. And you can build an MMO basically knowing these 3 things. So you need to create... Well, I guess you need save games. So you also need to know how to read and write from files, just to be complete. Usually reading from and writing to files is something that, like, most programming tutorials, like, cover that. Just so you can do something useful. And so, okay, so you have reading, writing from files, you have sound output, you have graphics output, and you have keyboard input. And that is basically what you need for a game. Like, that's the technologies you need to know. But with MMOs, it gets more complicated. Because in addition to having to know all of that, MMOs also want you to first you have to do networking. So networking slightly is similar to file access, because you sending bytes over the network and getting them back, and that's basically the same thing as sending them to a file. The thing is just you can take some shortcuts with files, because these days hard disks, or actually SSDs these days on most computers, are fast enough that you can just wait for them to write out your data. Whereas the network is so slow that you kind of have to go off and say, hey, here, take these bytes, send them over the network, and call me back once there is a reply or something. And then you have to keep track of, did it actually arrive, did it not? And you need 2 programs, the application and the server part of your code for the game, of course. So you need to communicate between 2 programs, you need to do network transactions, you need to deal with network dropping out suddenly, or just network messages not arriving. You need to deal with, are these messages fast enough? Or do I need to do something, you know, do I need to do something to kind of tell the user, hey, your network is too slow? Or is there a way how I could say, okay, I'll pre-download these things, that'll take a while for you, but then I'll just send the most important messages, and everything else I'll make it educated guess at? Like, those are things that you then end up in professional MMOs doing. Like, in Overwatch, you might have noticed that sometimes, or in other shooters, but, like, I've seen it in Overwatch, that your character just, or that another character just kept running forward and then bumping into something. You know, just kept running against that. And then suddenly, poof, they teleported over. No, that's not a hack. That's usually when the network connection is not good, because then when they haven't had a signal, they just assume the character keeps doing what they were doing and redirect them. Like, especially when you haven't had a signal from the server is usually the case where they do that. And that way, if it's just, you know, there's like one spot where you should have communicated with the server where the message didn't go through, the next one will come in and it will correct and it'll say, okay, yeah, you kept running in the same direction, so the animation just went there. But of course, if that was a misprediction and the other character actually just went like one step forward and then started running sideways, then you'll get this teleporting where it's suddenly, oh, I've got information from the server and actually what I predicted would happen didn't happen. You know, and so you have that. Also, of course, if you're running a server on the internet, you have to do all the security things that you need to deal with on a server. If you're running on a user's computer, usually all you do is you sandbox your game. Like, you make it so that this game just runs game code, the user installs your game, it runs as a regular user, it cannot do anything, and this game then will write to like one folder containing the save games or something, and read game data from the game folder. So it's very limited what you can fuck up, because you're not communicating with other processes or anything. You're just using system commands to say, put this on the screen. So it's a lot easier to write secure software, because the attack surface is smaller. But of course, if you're a server, then you're running on the server and someone might try to get in there. You know, because basically there has to be an opening for you to transfer data to other computers too. Whereas a single player game just exists in its own world. It doesn't have, like, it has no doors, basically. And so that's always fascinating. There's a lot more. I've forgotten half of it now, but there's like a whole lot of systems. Like, you need all the systems you need for a regular game, and you need to deal with networking, and networking is asynchronous, so you can't just go, I'll do this, I'll wait for it to say it's done this, and then I'll do my next thing, but rather you have to send it off and be ready to receive answers that tell you, okay, now the message arrived, or now a reply to this message arrived, or something like this. And all these messages, of course, you have to like define what should they be and things like that. And you need a big database, because usually if it's a server, that means multiple users can access it. So you don't just have one player that can be in one location at a time. And so you only have to deal with, you know, the world around this player, and everything else might as well not exist. And when the player gets to a new location that they've been in before, you can go, okay, I've written down when the player was here last and where these other characters were, and now I'll just say, okay, where would these characters be 5 hours later, or whenever you came back? Or like, which of these characters still exist given I just poisoned a river upstream, you know, and they drink, like, these 5 drink from that river, so they get removed. But like, it's much more selective what you need to simulate, what you need to calculate to show the user. Whereas in an MMO, there can be, on every spot on your map, there can be a player. And so all these things just add up, like multiplayer, networking, and a full-blown single-player game. So optimizing gets harder, things like that. But, you know, like everyone who is a gamer and gets into programming kind of gets the idea, oh yeah, I would really love to make an MMO.
Not just a pretty sidekick, Buster.
Alright. Got these, what was it called? Bog wings, right. Destroy equipment. I have to kill 10 of you, so let's find the guys first. Oh. There's actually a second equipment here. I guess someone came through here. Oh, that's just a harvesting node. We don't actually have any harvesting skills. So I guess now we only have to kill 8 more of you. Find the ones that are in nice circles, so we can use our AoEs. Alright. It's kind of sad. There was like one. Basically, it was the game development Stack Overflow. So Stack Exchange, I guess, is what the generic stuff is called. And there was some guy who was working on his own MMO, and it was kind of interesting to like he would like talk a lot, like answer questions about MMO mechanisms he'd already researched and things like that. And that was always interesting to read those. And then at some point, it seems he realized how big a task making his MMO actually was, and I think he was doing it in PHP or something. And so I guess at some point just ran into like a technological limit. And that's kind of the upside of you know, programming languages like PHP is you get started really early. Like they take care of a lot of the server-specific stuff, which also makes it less likely for you to write your own security bugs. You only write he's actually talking to his bogwing. That's cool. I don't want to kill him. But I think I'll have to because he's like the smallest group here.
Dad!
So we're done with these guys. So I guess we have to go somewhere over there where the gun would be. I guess that's again behind the wall. Okay. But yeah, so just to make this not as pessimistic as it might sound. What's this? These are prison guards. Okay. Well, let's see if we can just zip through. And you're distracting these guys. That's good. And I don't see any gun though. Only see these rift lurkers. Well, let's go around here. Those are Rhodians. That's the wrong kind. What are you? Gunned. Finally. Okay.
I'm not scared of you.
Ah, damn it. Triggered it. I meant to actually... That's the most important ability a sniper has, is push people away so you can properly snipe them. This is magical stormtrooper aim. I shoot all the way across it, but I hit it anyway. That's how the stormtroopers, that's how the Empire won the war, you know? Okay. Again, shoot across it. It blows up anyway. I must have, like, I don't know, radiation ammo or something. Okay. And now how many? We need 4 more. I wonder... I guess the droid probably doesn't count, so if I take all of you... I hate it. They keep kicking me away and that interrupts my... That interrupted my AoE thing. Otherwise I could have cut them all 4 at once. Alright. It worked anyway. But you can see that my health is went down a little. Alright, and we're still only 8 of 10. Did I miscount?
Trouble on the way.
Alright. 9 of 10. Who wants to be the last? I promise I'll leave you alone after that. Seriously, I actually have to take out 3 of you. Okay. Thanks, Mako. Alright, we're good. So now I guess we're going back. So I think what I wanted to say is, yeah, I didn't want to sound too pessimistic about all of this. I'm just saying that, you know, it's cool and it's fun to try and make your own MMO, but keep in mind that making an MMO is a big thing. So maybe start with like a single player game as your first game, and then go and work your way up from there. Or at least go in with the expectation, I'm going to make as much of an MMO as I can, but I will probably not succeed. And, you know, just because it's such a big task. But I'll have learned a lot, so go in saying I want to learn how MMOs work. And then, you know, you can always make another attempt, but you'll probably make like your first few games, or at least your first MMO, you will probably, you know, make to throw away. And one way to maybe, you know, like sometimes it just helps to know expectation management is important. Yeah, basically that. Like, I mean, I know there are some people who just go like, you know, I need to believe that I will complete this, otherwise I'll just stop right away. But at least, like, I'm more of the type, like, it's okay if I go in expecting to, you know, just doing experiments and things better. In one Game Dev Tools forum, they called this stage, "Where is the Save as MMORPG button?" Yeah. Yeah, and it's a cool little... let me just close those windows for a second. Getting a bit warm in here. Yeah. Slight mistake in the setup, and so my green screen suddenly turned away. Anyway, and yeah, so I think an important part of it is picking smaller games to start with, and you know, then the likelihood is that you create something, you learn something from it, but you can still finish a game. And of course, it's sometimes difficult to tell what is a big problem, what is a small problem before you have attempted it and seen how it goes. Because sometimes you just think, oh yeah, I know how this generally works, this should be fine. And then once you actually try it in practice, you go like, oh, this complicates things a lot. Like for example, like network access is asynchronous, which is this whole, usually most commands that you do on a computer, like if you add something to a number, is synchronous. That means you do it and the result is immediately available for the next line. Asynchronous code is you just write down somewhere, some other part of the computer should please do something, and then it will do something and you can do other things in the meantime, and then, you know, like 20 lines later in your program, but like not at a predictable time, basically, you know, it can take longer, it can take shorter, this other part will be done, and then it'll kind of notify you, hey, this is now available. And so you kind of end up, and that complicates things, of course, because you have to occasionally, like, either you occasionally, like, that's not what you really do, but think of it as like every couple of lines you check, has this given me the answer yet? No? Okay, then I'll do some more things. So for example, in a game like this, when I turn, it sends a message to the server, I've turned 15 degrees. So it knows now when I shoot, I can shoot these guys that are within my cone of view, you know, but I can't shoot the guys behind me. Or like if I'm interacting with someone, they know it's possible for me to interact with this one, but not with this one because she's too far away. And so that message gets sent, and during that time, my game code can keep running this code. Like it can make these robots run around on their path, and can keep animating the smoke and things like that. And it can keep watching for me to press keys. You know, things like that. And that's what asynchronicity is, basically. It's a little more convenient than that because you're not actually checking every time for every single thing, but rather the operating system kind of basically periodically calls you. And you just, when you tell, for example, the network interface, send this message out and tell me when a reply comes in, you just tell the operating system to check periodically. And the operating system will periodically call you and say, hey, render a new frame on screen with the smoke or whatever. And then just like it does that, it will also call you back with, hey, you got a reply. And then you can go, okay, the reply was, no, you can't actually turn because there's a wall in the way, or you've been immobilized by an enemy or something, or you're already dead. And then, you know, then the game won't update or something like that. It's just all this stuff complicates the game. But, you know, for example, a simpler game would already be if you go, okay, I don't want a game that constantly needs to live update and needs to communicate, needs a server that can communicate to many people what I am doing right now and what all the other players are doing, so that, you know, you see everyone that is running around here with you. Which, of course, just as I say that, there's nobody here today. But we've seen some people earlier, so just imagine they were here as well. Yeah, so you have these. So that complicates things even more, because like at every possible time in your game, you have to be prepared to do network communication. Whereas if you do something more like a turn-based game, so like a board game, or, you know, just like some Japanese role-playing games actually are turn-based, then everything can happen locally as long as you're setting up your turn. And then once you've prepared your turn, you send one message with all the info to the server, and then just wait for a reply from when it's your next turn, when all the other players have done their turn. So that's, for example, there's many like online card games where you do one turn on your phone, then you put it back in your pocket, and a little while later you get a push notification the other 4 players have now had time to continue playing the game, and then you see the results, you go okay, and then you can do your next turn. That's one way to make it simpler, because then only once per turn you need a network message, and basically you can still sort of wait for it. So that's basically my recommendation, is pick a game like that has, if you really want to test network communication, then maybe go and, or if you want a multiplayer game with network communication, then one way to do it is to pick a game that is turn-based and that has less of network communication, that needs to do it less often. Because, like, there's many ways how you could think, well, an MMO doesn't always have to send messages, but the problem is, if you, like, group together messages or something, there's more opportunity for cheating. Because you can just delay the messages, and the more action-oriented a game is, so that you have to shoot at something at a certain time. Ah, there's another player, see? The more that happens, the more you have the more the player expects immediate reply, and the more grouping together messages can be used for cheating, for instance. But of course, also, if you have cooperative games instead of player versus player games, that also makes things simpler. Because then cheating, the impact of cheating isn't quite as large. Because, you know, if it's cooperative, then all the players benefit from someone cheating, instead of being disadvantaged by it. So that might also be a way where you can go, okay, then I can make my game simpler. For example, there are some cooperative games where you don't run a server. Every player has their own state on their computer, which of course means they can manipulate it any way they want, give themselves items or whatever, because it's just a file on their hard disk. And there is no cross-check to the server, you know, where the server can say, no, you never bought this item. And that's one way to in some games that still works. But like, as soon as you go towards player versus player, or people can get rewards, of course, being able to just manipulate your character on your hard disk in a multiplayer game can cause huge problems, because then someone can log into the game for the first time, have all the high-level items they need, and just, you know, stomp everyone.
Those alien gangs will think twice before attacking the Empire again.
I hope you kicked a few of them while they were down. The alien inmates are right where we want them, bruised, broken, and terrified of the Empire. But if I know criminals, they'll be back to their old tricks soon. We'd better ensure their wounds stay raw, but we don't have the manpower that disciplinary action takes.
Find the meanest gang of aliens, then deputize them. They'll keep the rest in line.
A repugnant idea, which, I'm afraid, is the only way out of this mess. The aliens here are mostly slack-jawed brutes, except the Trandoshans. They follow a strict warrior's code of honor and competition. The fools even worship a goddess, some scorekeeper they think rewards honor. devotions carved them into fanatics. Now they roam this wing, hunting dangerous prey.
And remember, Renegade was on Hoth. He was a Trandoshan, so that's what we're dealing with here now. There are a bunch of Trandoshan prisoners who have that same code. Like, I want a high score, I want to kill dangerous enemies or something. So, we're pretty much already an expert in that area.
These Trandoshans are useless if they won't swear.
Nope, that wasn't what I wanted to say. And
Those alien gangs will think twice before.
I hope the we better fire.
If the Trandoshans are that gullible, they'll come around. Those alien gangs will think twice before attacking the Empire again.
I hope you kicked a few of them while they were down. The we fire.
That's weird. Okay, let's see if we can get through there at all without Mako disapproving.
That made my day.
As vile as they are, we can win them over. All it takes is a little competition. Trandoshans never turn down a worthy foe. They'll recognize you as a fellow hunter, and they'll be compelled to prove their strength. Challenge their leader to a duel. Demand that if you win, his entire pack serves as the Empire's enforcers. They'll be honor-bound to obey.
This was kind of odd, because, like, the answer I selected was, so they're crazy, that's bad. And what I said was, that made my day. Is that, like, was that the wrong sound file hooked up there, or... I don't know. That sounded a little weird.
I expect to be well paid.
Of course. I'll take care of everything once the contract's fulfilled. The Trandoshans built their fortress inside a vault. Storm the place and challenge their leader. Make the scaly thugs bow to the Empire.
Alright. We're level 48. That's nice. Let's see. That device, we have a better one. That's a credit box. We can trade that in. We can use that, I mean, and the rest... An orrery. Oh, Mako likes that. Okay, you can have it.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
And the rest is... oh no, canister of Coruscant soil. Nothing for Mako. Oh, but we have 2 of them. But apparently they don't stack. That's rude. There's so many of those additional quests around here.
Please use all products only as intended. Be well.
It almost breaks my heart not to do them, but on the other hand, I've done all of these quests a lot of times already. And really here, I just want to do the main quest and get Mako enough points with Mako. Defeat the Trandoshan, so that's on this side. Okay. Let's do that. But where is the save as MMORPG button is a nice description. That, you know, like, I'm not blaming anyone. It's just, you know, I see the attraction of saying, hey, MMOs are cool and I want to build something like that. And you can make pretty much every kind of game thing happen in an MMO. But it's also social. So, yeah, that's cool. Those are great games. But on the other hand, if you look how many MMOs there are out there, most of them are really large by really large companies because they are a lot of work and they need huge teams. And then you have the issue that even though many of them are made by professionals and large teams of them, this is so cool. Should never bother to look. There's actually like a bridge under there. You know what? Let's check this out. Maybe there's something in there. Aw. There isn't, but still. Anyway, yeah, the MMOs. So like they're fun games, and then once you look into it a little, okay, what will I have to do? You kind of slowly get an idea of all the things you have to do, and it's like if you've programmed an application before, like just a regular, like, I don't know, smartphone app or anything, then you go like, okay, I've done these parts, I know how these work. And then you see, but, oh, I'll also need a 3D engine, or at least I need to, you know, like, use Unity or whatever. And then also you need, you know, you'll kind of realize that there's so many things that you need. Also, of course, to build a game in general, you need, if you need either a 2D or a 3D engine, some way to output the graphics, but of course you also need an artist or need to be an artist. So that's also a bit of extra skill you need to have available. So is this... let's call up the big map here. Can we... Oh, it looks like we can maybe go through here. Oops. Might have aggroed these guys. Just keep going. All will be fine. So now I somehow need to go in here? No. I want to go somewhere on the right. Don't. Seriously? Invisible wall here? Jesus. Rude. Like, this is a spot where I should be able to just walk up. Okay, that's up there, I guess. So how do I get there? Okay, not from here. So I guess we go back and see if we go on the other side of the map. Or maybe... Bye-bye. What happened here? Oh, mounts are not allowed here?
Thought I'd be a pushover, huh?
Okay, that doesn't lead anywhere where our objectives are. So let's go back here. These are so pretty, these flying, like manta ray-like things. I don't know why this one keeps spawning in and out, but in general... Ah, okay. Should have... I guess we found the way through. It was here. I kind of thought I'd have to go through here, because that looked pretty closed. I was actually going for here, but somehow I turned early. And I guess that was just the right thing to do. Okay. Yes, all the angry hissing. Oh, this doesn't look... Ah, maybe over there. Okay. I guess that's where I can get through. Here they still have force fields. Okay, give me a second, because I added a splitter to my display setup, and apparently, yeah. And apparently, that splitter okay, I guess it works without me actually taking it out. That's good. Because I just realized that, of course, if I take the splitter out, I have two HDMI plugs. And I don't have a HDMI socket-to-socket adapter right now. So I would have had to, like, find a different cable or something, but I managed to just jiggle it a little bit. I wonder if I can just sneak past behind you. Wow. Talk about security. Huh. So how do I get over there, though? Oh.
Okay.
Overlooked one. Oh, that doesn't look good. I don't think I'm doing any damage.
Help here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, okay, interesting. What is this? It said Republic territory. I wonder if that's like a level gate for the PvP area or something. Okay, and where the heck am I now? Down here. Jesus.
Please use all products only as intended. Be well.
Then how do I get to that location? If I'm not... Health bar completely full. 10 shots. Health bar doesn't move. 1 shot. Okay, I guess now we'll move. And just move it to 0. It makes sense, you know, they want that if you get into this fight, you need a full... Basically, they want to give you a full health bar to fight. But if you don't get into this battle, then of course they just want you to, then they just want you to,
You're gonna get it now.
Let's at least get that guy away from the other enemies. But I wonder what that... like what that area was. Was that just a lot higher level for later, or what? Or why was I completely unable to do any damage to these turrets? Or is the idea, oh, you need to sneak away from them? Those guys are called Gran, which is funny, kind of like, hello, my so my alien, not my grandmother. Alright, let's just keep walking through here because, oh. That way we get the map filled, and we did. Whatever this is. Oh, that's a tunnel entrance or something. With a bunch of guards in front, but that means you can probably just run around. Let's have a quick peek at how it looks. Yeah. Interesting. There are always some alien names. Oops. A lot more of you guys than I thought. Oh. I didn't want to focus on the guy that Mako had immobilized. I wanted the other guy. That's 45. I'm leveled down to 45 here. A little, so Mako doesn't have to do as much. Then her superior firepower can take these guys out. And of course, leave no loot behind! These guys would give some crafting materials. What are these? They're all level 45. This is definitely a higher level area than these are just regular foot soldiers, which means I actually have no problem taking them out. Good. Satchel of crafting materials and Sith opera. Dang it. I can't go up there. Okay. Seriously? You can't just all go after Mako. Partial health bars first. Sorry, I'm talking away from the microphone because I managed to turn this around. Okay, there's still a guy up there, but he won't come down and we can't go
I'm
up.
not scared of you.
I guess I could have switched Mako to passive and run away. Something like that. Ah, there's a entrance down there. Interesting to see if you get up there. Yeah. That's a one-way to... Sorry. So let's have a peek what's down there. That looks a lot. Oh, but that looks like there's a path through. So let's see. Oh. I think I woke up another guy that was in stasis, maybe? Oh, no, maybe not. Because the other one was already dead. This is kind of weird because these underground areas are usually... Oh, that's, that was the small guy. You're the big guy, which my ability doesn't even stun. Okay, but we got you. That the animal is the big guy was kind of new. Right, okay. Now I can get all of you at once. Aha! I like these, the jump to enemies ability and the pull an enemy towards you. Okay, I think we found the way through. Now let's find the other guy again. That ability is actually still on cooldown. All right. So where are we even trying to go? Which quest was that? Defeat Trandoshans outside their walls. Vault. Oh, okay. That's actually good. That means all this work that we did.
Sidekick buster.
It's actually useful. These varactyls are so pretty. Seems to be something from another quest, so I'm kind of afraid. Are those supposed to be mines or something? I'm kind of afraid we'll have to come back here. So... Come on, you. 14 of 15, that sounds good. Defeat Trandoshan's inside their vault. Okay, and I guess, yeah, that's somewhere there. Didn't even need my AoE here. Well, except the fire, I mean. Okay. Let's see if we can go... No, we can't. Can we? No. I don't think we can get past... Oh, actually, that looks pretty good. It's only deep on that one side. I guess we need to fight you. Okay. That wasn't too bad. And here it goes down to the vault. Good. And I guess now we get all the people inside the vault to kill.
Take that!
Okay. Oh, you have a lower health bar. You die first. Alright. Let's go inside and find your boss and convince him. Alright. These quests are all just so much just shooty shooty. Had already suppressed the memory of nine of 10, so I guess we can sneak past these. You look like a lone. Of course. You two are a team, apparently. Okay. So now doesn't look like we can sneak past you very well. But maybe we can pull this guy over here. So we can at least get all of you at once. And I'll I'll try this strategy until either I get bored or you. Probably until I get bored, and you'll be bored long before that. Why is there even more people? Can I maybe... Damn it! It's too high. Subdued Varactyl. How is that different from the other ones? This corner kind of... A lot of this looks like they have like map configurations, like tiles, just with different art styles. And pre-populated with like enemies like of this level. So they can just quickly go like, okay, here's the path you'll have to take. That's all the trash automatically populated. So by trash, I mean the enemies you just have to go past. Because like in so many maps, for example, in all the caves at the start of the Sith Warrior and Sith Inquisitor stories, you have areas like this. Like this exact corner, with here like the big guy, and here like a little group of smaller ones. Okay, and now, as you see from this green force field, we're going into our own instance. So this means all these enemies that we shall meet here are for us. Oh, interesting. Could go down there, but really we just want to be up here. Ea's Al and Trandoshan lead. I'm assuming his name is Al, S-Al, actually, and not AI. By the way, I feel for everyone whose name is Al and who goes by L, because probably half the time when people swear and cuss about AI, you'll have to check, is that about me? I mean, I guess it won't be a mention, but, you know. You wound my pack, killed our warriors, now you come to me with blood on your hands. You defeat this one for the scorekeeper. Think of the reward. Wait, this soft thing deserves my aid. Why do you approach the mighty Sevrek? You know, we're kind of an honor guy, right? I mean, we just do jobs, but I mean, you know, we respect other warriors.
Your gang's more powerful than all the other grunts in this wing. I could use your strength. Fight me, and you get a chance to defeat the greatest prey on Belsavis. But if I win, your pack must agree to serve the Empire.
Ha, a fearless one. I will enjoy crushing you. If you win, we kneel. But if you lose, SL takes the trophy. The nose! No, the hand! Any final words, soft skin? No last meal.
Let's do this, Sevrek.
Watch us, scorekeeper.
Trouble on the way.
kind of funny how his friends are. Oh, now we're down there where the other NPC characters were. Okay. I should probably use my shield so Mako doesn't have too much. He's already less than half. That's going pretty quick. They're being really generous here. Yeah, you have to do it for the story.
I've proven my strength. Now serve the Empire. Help us keep the other alien prisoners in line.
You have shamed my pack in the eyes of the scorekeeper, but the fight was fair. We will serve.
Prove your strength against the other aliens, and your goddess will take notice. Captain Van Dorn, the Trandoshans have agreed to police the aliens.
Magnificent. I'll send troops to make sure those scaly fiends obey.
Severick displayed great honor today. His pack will serve us best without your interference.
I am honored by your kindness. We will dedicate ourselves to your cause.
Smart lizard. With those scoundrels on our side, we'll have this wing secure in no time. I'm sending an Imperial team out to toss their base and search for contraband. I'll keep you in mind if anything turns up. Meanwhile, you're needed in the maximum security wing. I hear Operation Group 3's managed to awaken one of Belsavis' sleeping monstrosities there. Help Colonel Grang contain whatever broke loose. The Empire would appreciate it. Van Dorn, out.
That was a cute little trick. Did you see that, like, during the conversation, like, over the shoulder of the hologram, you saw some of the Trandoshans kind of, like, shrink back? And now all the guards are gone and only Severick is left. That's kind of a cool way to despawn some characters. I actually expected Severick not to be here either. Like, you know, that would be a good way to just despawn all these characters. I have shamed my pack. We await your Imperial slave drivers, is what he apparently just said. I'm a bit sad that if you converse with the with like NPCs, they play audio, but you don't get subtitles. I mean, you know, this game is old. Like, it's great that they have subtitles at all in most of the conversations. Which I guess, you know, when you have conversations with choice is much more common. What's this one? Oh, that's another Trandoshan, so they're fighting amongst each other. Okay. Among each other, by the way. Actually, I recently read an article where it said that, you know, like, many people say amongst because it sounds more, you know, like, fancy, like an old word. But the fun thing is that amongst is actually, I think it was some movie or something where it first showed up. Like, it's a fairly recent phrase. Amethyst Arcane. Hi, how's it going? Let's go. I had to nap this morning, but I'm here. So excited for this stream. Okay. Welcome. We have just secured ourselves a Trandoshan security force. And now I guess we'll have to deal with something else that the Imperials found. I have a suspicion what it is, but we'll see. By the way, this is also one of the segments where you go like, okay, yeah, this looks like a lot of the other halls we've already been in. Like this setup with like this bridge and the walkways on either side and then a tunnel at the bottom. Like this tunnel is it's just a big room. I guess the doors are closed. But we've had this before. I think it was all already here on Belsavis, but yeah. So it's I think that's the good kind of asset reuse, you know. That yeah, if you build like a huge prison complex where all the you know, with several vaults and prison cells and things, then you generally, you know, use the same design in most of them. So that totally makes sense. And these stairs on the sides as well, we've had that before, you know, like in like the bridge and stairs, at least on one side. It was just a longer tunnel below. But that's, you know, it's the cool kind of reuse, because, like, you know, we don't build a house like every room of completely different parts. Like, you'll always have the same walls, the same way the windows are inset in the wall, usually the same window frames, although, of course, if, you know, some have been, you know, refurbished or upgraded to, you know, like, if it's an old building, you know, you might have single pane, double pane, or triple pane glass. And people don't always update all windows. So sometimes it's like, oh yeah, these few windows in the stairwell or something, those are still the old ones because they're so awkward to reach. But all the other windows we've upgraded, and that's why it's more insulated and things like that. So having this here, I guess it's actually technically too consistent a little bit, but it's good enough. Oh, I'm so glad these haven't respawned. Imagine we had to find all these trash again. Oh, and there's a little bit of fog. I didn't even notice that. That's cool. I mean, if you look closely, like, it turns with us. It's like the same as the campfire in Horizon Zero Dawn, you know. It's a surface that just is always turned to us with, like, fog painted on it, so cardboard stand up. Like, you can see that because it's the same from either side. There's just like 3 or 4 of them here. Oh, and now they've respawned. Of course they have. Okay, then I guess we'll fight them again.
Not just the pretty sidekick, Buster.
But anyway, Amethyst, nice to have you here. How's it going? Have you played Star Wars The Old Republic before? Or are you a Star Wars fan? Or I forget. It's funny. Do you see that their dead predecessors are still here? Of course, again, I made it around this guy who's barely affected instead of around this guy. It's kind of funny. You see that it's exactly the same NPC model, but they just haven't despawned the previous one. Go well, blasting Ravmax Discord with more German antiques that I came across. The last Star Wars game I got to play was The Force Awakens. There was the Force Awakens game? Huh. I'll have to check that out. Is it good? I don't even remember what kind of a game The Force Awakens would have been. And I mean, that's kind of recent. Like, Star Wars The Old Republic was way before the new 3 sequel movies. I think that's what it was called. It was on the 360. Do you mean, what was it called? The Force Unleashed? That's with Tom, what is his name? I forget what his first name was, but Sam Witwer. the guy who played Onslaught on Smallville and streams. That's right. The Force Awakens was a movie, correct? Yeah. I thought maybe they made a tie-in game that I had missed. But, yeah. The Force Unleashed is cool. It's kind of, basically you play a, I really have to fight all of these guys again. I think I can circumvent them. Let's see. So the Force Unleashed, you're playing as a... I guess we'll try if we can just zip past them. Didn't work. Okay. Yeah, the Force Unleashed, you're basically playing as a young boy who's picked up by Darth Vader, as far as I remember. And, so you're basically like a Sith, kind of, from their, from apprentice to when you finally become a full-blown Sith. It's a pretty cool game. You have like Sith Force, you know, like Force Lightning and other abilities. I've played a little bit of it, and it seemed pretty cool. It also has like there's like a slightly different ending you can get, and they actually made DLC based on that ending. So it's basically, there's one ending you get that kind of lines up with the Star Wars movies, but you can make one decision in one spot that like does something that contradicts the movies. And if you do that, and so the DLC is based on that alternate reality, kind of, and it's pretty cool. Okay. That guy is higher quality than the others. Takes a little bit. Alright. I kind of wish there was a Star Wars, the Old Republic style game where the combat is less RPG style and more like the Force Unleashed, or like Overwatch, or heck, Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order or something. I mean, I guess, you know, more Fallen Order games would be okay as well. So, but like something more like that, you know, more, you know, like more first-person style and more with like aiming and stuff. And also, you know, like a more naturalistic graphics engine. I mean, this is cool and it's stylized to be more dang it. back a little here so that this guy... so that we won't attract this guy. And The Force Awakens was the... one of the Rey movies. Rey and Kylo Ren. That was the one where they had the silly little picture where it, like the first picture was like The Force Awakens, and then the next one was The Force hits snooze, and then the last one was like The Force slept into and is now late for work or something like that. It was... I actually liked those movies, but that was a fun meme. The problem with The Force Awakens and those movies is that the first one was J.J. Abrams, and then J.J. Abrams, I think, got... Did he get Star Trek? No, wait, Abrams is more a Star Wars fan than a Trekkie, isn't he? So it was the other way around. He did the first Star Trek and then got the Star Wars series, and then of course wasn't available for Star Trek anymore. But anyway, yeah, so these movies of course have the small problem that the director changed for the middle movie, and I don't know, they didn't have the notes and any notes from J.J. Abrams or something like that, and so you basically they just made something up, and then when for the third movie they were able to get Abrams back, he just, you know, tried to like force it back to his original idea. And the problem with that was that basically the second movie had gone off in a different direction. And so there were a lot of plot lines that basically just got abandoned and things, and that was... it didn't make it a good movie series. Like, each individual movie is kind of nice, but that was it. Maybe he's an Uli fan? Didn't quite get that. Yeah, but you can... I think you can still get The Force Unleashed for PC. It's the kind of game where I think it would be nice... or did they do a remaster recently? I don't even know. Let me check. The Force Unleashed Master? Yeah, apparently they did a remaster. So not a remake, just a remaster. At least for the Nintendo Switch. And the Switch version apparently was based on the Wii version, which had to be cut down to work on the Wii, and so there's content missing. Okay. Anyway, it's still a cool game. Like, it's a bit low resolution for today, of course. At least the original one was. I don't know. Let's have a quick check whether the remaster made it, because that article is all about, oh, the Switch version wasn't so good. Force Unleashed. Oh, and apparently there was The Force Unleashed 2. I don't even remember that. Oh, and by the way, the guy who... The main character was called Starkiller in The Force Unleashed. Which of course was the name before they chose Skywalker. For Anakin. And of course would have been the one for Luke. Well, there is an Ultimate Sith Edition. It's from 2009. No, that's probably not a remaster. So yeah, I think that's just the normal version that's available on PC. So apparently they just did a little remaster for Switch and re-released it on there. Interesting. That seems kind of weird. Like, did they abandon remastering it for other platforms, or did Nintendo approach them and say, hey, we want a Star Wars game, and they said, oh, we don't have the time, but oh, we can churn something out quickly based on the first Force Unleashed or something?
Excuse me, Colonel Grang's saying some words for the fallen.
Sergeant Harral was a good soldier. He fought like a true Imperial, and he died a hero.
Yes, sir. We have company.
This is an Imperial operation, Merc, but as you can see, I have some vacancies to fill. Interested in hunting some rampaging aliens?
You're being vague, Colonel. What species are we talking about?
I've no idea. Looks like we stumbled on some uncharted freaks. Our mission was to clear the path for the Dread Master's rescue. That meant bringing prisoners to keep the Republic busy. My team broke vaults open. We unleashed something awful. Vicious aliens, armed and out for blood. There's no record of their existence.
You should have checked those vaults before opening them.
The Republic didn't have any records. It wasn't until after they were out that we discovered old prison data.
Found references to Eshka, an ancient conqueror species locked up for thousands of years. Details are still unclear.
Hear that, Hunter? Thousands of years. How'd you like first shot at a freshly thawed species?
Let's get more specific about my pay.
Most of my unit's dead. You can have their fee, plus more if you're thorough. You'll find the Eshkar in their prison vault. Search the place. We can't risk missing any.
Okay, that's what I was expecting. Yeah, the Eshkar I remember a little bit. Okay, what else? Okay, I guess...
At your service, sir.
Now it's fast travel time. Target-rich environment. I think we have a few more things to take care of. Metal Militia, return to Lord Medicus. Well, let's do that
Travel
first.
route is
That seems
confirmed.
like we're completing a quest and maybe we're getting more objectives. It's always the problem, you never really know, will I get more quests in this area? In which case, you know, you want to return, get your hand in the previous quest and then get the new ones and then do all of the quests in one area together. But then sometimes it's also like, yeah, no, you get the quests by staying in the area. And then at the end you can go to the distant places and hand in all the quests on your way back. Oh, and Little Blue Mazzotti, hello, how's it going? Didn't see you there. We're Star Warsing around here. Little Blue Mazzotti is a fellow streamer. Famous probably as well. Yeah, plays a lot of Mass Effect stuff. Like replaying a lot of Mass Effect. I'm fine. I'm enjoying. It's been a colder but sunny weekend, so that was kind of nice. And yeah, now I get to stream, so that's nice as well. Would have much less FOMO when they told us ahead of time where the quests take us. Yeah, that would be kind of nice. Or if there was like a highlight for an area, and like if you know, like if you point your mouse at the area on the map, that it would do something like tell you, oh yeah, go to these other areas to get these quests or something. Oh, hi Fem, how's it going? Yeah, I'm doing well. You need to lurk? Okay, have a fun lurk. And I guess we'll find out where we have to go here. I think we're going up here somewhere. Hello, other player? There's not that many players around on this server. I mean, not that I need many players because I don't do the multiplayer stuff, but yeah, okay, let's see, where are we? Here, so over on the right. Here. I take it they did very well. Lord Medica's eyeliner.
The Warden droids are no more. I hope the rioters took note.
Have no fear. Thousands of prisoners already move against the droids. More devotees follow your footsteps every minute. Many have died in the process, but that's normal.
Dismantling those droids wasn't the easiest thing I've ever done.
I respect the effort involved. Each Warden droid has the strength of dozens of prisoners. Still, we need more convicts on our side. Turn this mob into an army and the Republic will be permanently occupied. An army begins with generals. We must provide the prisoners with the leadership they require.
There must be plenty of leadership material locked up here. Break them out and put them to work.
Exactly. There's a carbonite storage facility in the intake yards, full of frozen convicts. Some were rebellion leaders, others simply murdered every guard they found. We need both persuasions.
What's in it for me?
You'll be provided for. However, if my plan works, you may encounter some extra defenses. Prisoner, what of your mission into the Carbon Gallery?
The crisis response unit ambushed us. I got away. Only me.
Excellent. Ruger took the bait. Now you can free the frozen prisoners and wipe out the crisis response unit all at once.
Who are these guards exactly?
They trained for everything. Hostages, riots, Sith opponents. They slaughtered us.
Another word, inmate, and I'll throw you back in prison.
Ruger's men are dangerous, but don't let it give you pause. Destroy the guards and defrost the prisoners. They'll turn this riot into an organized army. Then we'll have safe passage to extract the Dread Masters.
Sith performance review. Yeah, that's definitely what that out there is. Oh, another player. Lightning Jim the Force Walker. So that's how performance reviews are done among the Sith. Yeah. Your character voice sounds very familiar, almost Solid Snake-esque. Let's see. I mean, there's pretty much, you know, like every good voice actor is basically in this game, you know, so if, or at least, you know, depending on, like, countries or something. In other countries it might be different. But, like, the English version has, like, you know, the big names are all in there. So let's see what IMDb has to say. Star Wars: The Old Republic, 2011. That means this game will be turning 15 next year. Bounty Hunter male voice, first entry, nice, is Tom Speckman. Let's see what Tom Speckman did. Also did some other voices. Solid. Should I check? I'll scroll down and see if I see any. Well, he's done TV shows at least. That's the thing that a lot of people here are also known for TV stuff. But yeah, he only has 24 credits, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are Star Wars: The Old Republic and its DLCs. But like, he was on shows in the 80s like Matlock, Hunter, Dragnet, Law and Order. Okay, Law and Order is 90s already. And then, yeah, he's voiced Tommy on Red Dead Redemption. Oh wait, it's even more. It's 7 of his 24 entries, so more than a quarter of his entries, just by title of course, is Star Wars: The Old Republic. Because every DLC is in there. Which makes sense, because of course you can play all the DLCs as the Bounty Hunter. Solid Snake is David Hayter. That sounds familiar, at least. Oh, and he voiced a barbarian, or the barbarian, I don't know, in Diablo Immortal, another game. But that's about it. Tom Speckman, yeah. Let's see what David Hayter. David Hayter was in the X-Men movie. And a writer on the second X-Men movie. Wait, is that the same David Hayter? Yeah, I guess he did some voice acting. He voiced King Shark on The Flash, but it seems like that's more like on the level of cameos. Oh, David Hayter voices the male Jedi Knight in Star Wars: The Old Republic. So, let's see. Yeah, and he's in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Metal Gear Acid 2, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Yeah, he did a lot of voice acting for Metal Gear Solid, but he's the Jedi Knight, not the bounty hunter. So I guess they just picked some similar voices. He also was in Street Fighter 2 V or Street Fighter 2 5, I don't know. And he had a role in Guyver. Guyver is a funny movie. So Guyver, like a guy with V-E-R. It's like a guy who finds like an alien supersuit that kind of looks sort of, you know, like organic or also kind of like somewhere between Organic Monster and Power Ranger, you know, kind of that feel. Also those production values, basically. The fun thing about that is that I think in Guyver, maybe it's the second one or something, one of them has Mark Hamill in it, and there's like a poster where you basically see half Mark Hamill's face, and I guess that's the... So this one is called, the one with David Hayter is called Guyver the Dark Hero, and apparently there is another one movie just called The Guyver, and that's the one that has Mark Hamill in it. But the fun thing is, so the picture has like half Mark Hamill's face and half the Guyver's like mask. But the fun thing is that Mark Hamill is, I think, some cop. He's not actually the one who is the Guyver. So, and apparently it's based on a manga. There's also some anime. Guyver, the bio-boosted armor. Anyway, random facts that I looked up on the way of finding voices. So yeah. But yeah, there's some great, like the Jedi consular male is Nolan North, who is in almost every bigger game. The female bounty hunter, so if you play this quest but don't want to romance Mako, then you can play it as a woman. And that's Grey Griffin, also known as Grey Delisle. She's a well-known voice actress as well, and I think she also did some TV acting. I think she's also done a lot of like some Arkham games and what have you. She voiced that's the Gremlins TV series and the Watchmen TV series. So she had some guest roles in the Gremlins TV series. She actually voiced one gremlin, apparently. But anyway, yeah, she's done a lot of animation acting. Like, let me see. She has 723 credits, so that should tell you how prolific she is. And it includes Arkham Origins and other Arkham games, Bayonetta, but also animated series like Hulk and the Agents of Smash. And so there's a lot. Final Fantasy stuff, StarCraft. Yeah, a lot. But anyway, yeah. I love her voice for the bounty hunter. It's just so kind of deadpan. in general, I think, like, apart from the Jedi Consular, where I think, like, the voice direction, even for Nolan North, was kind of boring. I think all the voice acting is stellar, and especially the female voices really do a great job. Like, just the Sith warrior and the Sith Inquisitor. It's just like, I don't know how to say, like, it's, evil is not really the right word, but like, you can really, like, hear the knife in the voice acting, like the danger that is behind that character. You know, like what you'd expect from a Sith. And there's like what was it, like, murder and mayhem await or something like that is one of the phrases one of them always or frequently says. And yeah, so there's some really great voice acting. And then there's lots of well-known voice actors and even actors. Like Brian Bloom is in there. He used to do soaps and like lesser villains on TV shows. Stacey Haydock, who you might know from Sequest DSV or from Kindred the Embraced, is a companion in this game. So there's like so many great voice actors. IMDb for the top cast link for this game kind of has a 99+. You get Steve Bloom for lots of roles, including companions. Yeah, well, just a lot of people. It, like, you can Rachel Lee Cook can be one of your companions. Laura Bailey is of course in this. It's like basically in a game, if you have big voice actors, the female role is either Jennifer Hale or Laura Bailey. Basically, those are the big ones. Oh, you get I think I mentioned that a couple streams ago, Lacey Chabert, who was the was on the remake of Lost in Space. Tara Strong, Harley Quinn herself, is one of the smuggler companions, I think. Holly Fields is also in here, which also sounds like a name I've heard before. Although right now I can't place which franchise or which works. But like a lot of people that are not just voice actors, but even TV actors. So they cast him. Armin Shimmerman, Quark from Deep Space Nine and the Principal from Buffy, has a lot of guest roles. So yeah, just like, if there's a voice actor, you know, like Courtney Taylor and Ali Hillis from Mass Effect are in here, which is not surprising given this is a BioWare, or was made as a BioWare game at least. Yeah, lots of people. But I think I'm doing this every couple streams, going through like, oh, it's so amazing what actors are all in there, and oh, this voice, that sounds familiar. Oh yeah, right, that was this actor, but there's also all these others. It's yeah, it's a great game, and you have quality voice acting here. It's not just, you know, people reading lines, and the writing isn't bad either, you know. Okay, so we've got this info, and we're now supposed to find the Ashka, which sounds good as well. Oh, and right here is storage, so maybe we should drop off some inventory. Wait, maybe we should find a vendor first and sell off.
I've got the best hardware and the best prices.
Okay, sell junk, repair all. I recall we had a convo about voice actors before. It's incredible how much effort they put into this. Yeah. It's really a well done game. Okay, these are all. It's not for this character. That's also not really for this character. These are companion gifts. That's too low. This would actually... Would this be good? It goes kind of down. I think it's not enough of an improvement. And it's not really for this character. But this one is, so we'll keep that. Okay.
Good hunting.
Now let's see. No influence gain and no influence gain. And this one... Of course it switched out the wrong one. Character sheet. So, swap these out. And now we should be high again. Okay. I don't get why it always swaps out the lower value one. I mean, this is the same type as this, so that should, you know, Belsavis or Hoth Battler package. It's always the same thing. Is it going because this is Demolisher and this character kind of... should be wearing both? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's get those crafting materials. And
looking to upgrade your arsenal?
Sell this one as well.
Good hunting.
And now we can go here and free up some more inventory by taking the companion gifts that Mako doesn't care about. Oh, and we can... Okay, these are bound to character. These are bound to legacy. So let's pop these in here for as well, so I don't actually accidentally use them up. And get us a new one. Those, okay. So now our inventory is as empty as it'll get. And where is the... I think it's down here, right? Yeah. Let's see where the next spot is. I guess let's go over here and continue there. That's probably not the Eshka stuff, but let's just do all the quests down here to make sure that we have everything when we go up there. And yeah, you know, I love Star Trek Online, but Star Trek Online is kind of a well-done, balanced space combat game with some ground combat, and you can tell that they really looked at what is Star Trek and gave you all that stuff. But it's just like an, you know, it's a good MMO. And it does this franchise, so it's a Star Trek. But Star Wars The Old Republic is like a BioWare game and an MMO, and it's exceptional. It does some things, like it has all this voice acting, it has stories like that reflect like the humanity and how wars happen and like how people, you know, survive wars. Kind of all of that is in there, so they've really taken, it has more depth. And I mean, that's, you know, like, part of that is that ever since The Next Generation, Star Trek kind of had this idealized world. And I like optimistic worlds, you know, that's good. But, I mean, Babylon 5 did optimistic as well. And they didn't need a perfect world for that. And that's kind of what Star Wars... but so this this optimistic, this perfect world, I mean, not just optimistic, that Star Wars has, kind of makes it difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, this, like, having such a perfect world kind of makes it harder to tell interesting stories. Like, you can do... Oops. Didn't actually want to aggro this one. You know, the stories are not bad, but it's just easier because you have so much darkness in the Star Wars universe. You know, there is this evil empire. And that just makes it easier to find stories about the people caught in the cracks and things like that. And that really makes this game interesting because it feels... The stories are so much more adult, but not in the sense of, you know, like... adult content where it's like there's no nudity in this game, and well, I guess there is like the romances, but you know, it's all fade to black, so it's really not more than you'd get in like a 50s Hollywood movie or something. It's just like they deal with real problems, and I guess I don't, you know, I'm not putting down Star Trek Online, but Star Trek Online is more about higher level, you know, strategies and politics and plot, and Star Wars: The Old Republic is more about oh, that was nice. It was the acid. I thought it was just the smoke. Yeah, so and Star Wars: The Old Republic is more about psychology and people, basically. Although, I mean, there is, you know, plot, but like, it feels more like someone had, you know, had people and told the stories that result from these people. Whereas in Star Trek Online, someone had like a world and events, big events like, you know, revolutions or wars or peace treaties that happened there, and then kind of came up with people that fit into these plots and follow these plots. It's a little more like that. That's not a bad thing, you know, that's just a style thing. But, you know, it just, you feel, you know, this evokes more empathy in some cases. Of course, you still, in the middle, run through, and that's actually something like here you have this whole big connected world, and that's more immersive, but also you spend so much time just running. And in Star Trek Online, on the other hand, since kind of the main thing they focus on is the space combat, the ground stuff is generally always, you go through this one level and do things, and then do your advance the story, and then you go back to the ship. So there's less needless running and more, okay, 10 meters this enemy, 10 meters this enemy, 10 meters this enemy, boss fight, you're through. But also, this game has more traditional boss fights, whereas Star Trek Online kind of is less about this, you know, mobs and boss fights and things. Just in general.
We got trouble.
What the heck? Okay, that was interesting.
Trouble on the way.
Was that supposed to be he threw a flashbang at us? It kind of seemed a bit like... I don't even remember who that Zale Barrows... Was that the SIS agent? Droids seem to have the bug again where they just stand. But at least with droids you can kind of say, well, it was in a stable position, and when you destroyed it, you know, like its controls malfunctioned and its motors just stayed that way. Like, you know, depending on how the positioning of those limbs works, they would just freeze in place however you killed them. Yeah, there are two ways. Have the world perfect and tell stories about conflict, or show a conflicted world and tell stories about conflict resolutions. Interesting idea. Like, I'm not sure you have a lot of conflict resolutions in Star Wars. I mean, the name kind of gives it away, you know, that you're kind of always in a galaxy at war. Which quest is this? Zale Barrows juxtaposition. Let's see what this quest even was. Darth Tormund has dispatched you to the remote Republic world of Belsavis to remove a threat to his plans for Corellia. Okay, that's that guy. He has ordered his subordinates on the planet to assist you in any way possible. Lieutenant Horn informed you that your target is one Zale Barrows, formerly a privateer who led an independent fleet under the Republic's banner. Now the unofficial ferryman to the top-secret prison on Belsavis. Oh, he's the secret agent who brings people here. Okay. You've spotted Zale Barrows in the prison industrial facility in the high security section. Go after him. Whoops. That was nice. There's a lot of dead people in here. What's... elevator error. Main facility power offline. Okay, so now we have to go through these guys after all. Okay, that was a nice misdirect.
Trouble on the way.
Like, oh, we don't even need to kill them, and then, oh, you do. There's one class where you actually get a droid that looks a lot like this as a companion. It's an interesting character. Okay.
Cut it a little close there, Em.
M3OB. Thought Zale missed excitement. Chase and blasters is excitement. M3OB reduce excitement.
Nice try, but you... I'd kinda hoped the first time I met you it'd be captaining your one-way trip to lockup.
Things rarely go the way we want them to.
That's deep. But you moonlight as a Jedi Master when you're not blowing up orphanages?
Not yet blown up an orphanage. Oh no.
Let me in there, you little twat! You got nowhere to run!
This guy's got one answer to everything.
Friend of yours? Hate to disappoint, but even your thick skull won't break through this force field.
What are you standing around for? Let's blast this place to pieces!
I don't throw temper tantrums.
It ain't a temper tantrum! Blast the generators and Zale ain't got nowhere left to hide! Soon as this field drops, me and Zale are gonna get reacquainted.
Did I want to... I mean, we only don't want him on Corellia, right? So I think capturing him alive probably pays better.
If he's dead when I get back, I'm gonna be real upset.
Don't you worry. I plan on keeping him alive a good long time.
So yeah, that's Skadge, this friendly gentleman. And as I mentioned, he's available as a companion. Which means one of my characters basically had only 3 companions. Because I would just never take Skadge with me when it wasn't absolutely necessary. Yeah, for the... Yeah, I don't think you have many conflict resolutions here, because it's just always, you know, it's Star Wars. So it's mostly just new wars. The smell of freshly roasted ratataki. Same thing again. Come on. Close. That was it. That guy stood closer than the other one, or I stood closer to them. Ratataki crack shot. I read that as crack. The bruiser has been bruised as well. This feels like one of those, you know, in movies where they will have a computer there with a display on top of the table, and then when they get hacked, they just shoot the display to stop it. I wonder if anyone has ever parodied that bad computer comprehension and, you know, done it that someone else comes like, why did you shoot the display? Now I have to find a new one before I can interrupt the hacker. Okay. Let's hope Skadge got beaten up now. Oh no, he actually caught him. Oh, he only caught his droid. Aww.
Dirty rotten!
You let him get away, didn't you?
It ain't my fault! The rats scurried down this little hole while you were taking a sweet time wrecking the place! Tin Can wouldn't give up where he was going. Guess I broke it.
You can't beat answers out of a drawer.
Okay, Mako disapproved, so we'll have to do that again.
You just became a problem for me, Hauk. You've got 3 seconds to come up with a solution.
I got an idea how to keep this heap talking. There's lots more junk like this thing walking around keeping the runts in line. They get built at a plant deeper in. Bet there's parts to hotwire this trash and shock some answers out of it.
It kind of seems like a weird choice from our character to ask for strategic advice from Skadge, who has proven that he's not the brightest crayon in the box.
Not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Course it ain't. Place is inside max lockup. Ain't getting in there without some major boom booms. And I only got this dinky piece. You blast the place up. I'll haul this junk over and grab us a couple of tech heads on the way. Deal?
I was just about to say, like, he can't be that stupid if he can hotwire droids. But now he goes like, oh yeah, I'll grab us a couple of tech heads on the way. Deal? And it's like, okay, yeah, that makes much more sense. I mean, it would kind of... Actually, in this game, you know, it would actually be... You know, more depth if they showed that there's many people who are, you know, like, singular talents. Like, there's many people who can do thing X really well, but are completely rubbish at something else. And that's much more interesting than just going, oh yeah, he's the, you know, the big dumb brute stereotype. So it would have been kind of nice to have him actually be, you know, tech savvy and just like not, you know, you can do this. Like if you think about it, like it's another stereotype, but you know, if someone is not socially savvy, you know, there's many people who are intelligent, smart, but not street smart. And that could have been Skadge, you know, that he grew up kind of like having to use his fists, but also having to fix technology. And so he used that, and since he's a big, strong guy, he kind of didn't really have to learn to deal with people. He would just go out and whack him, you know. So that would be an interesting character. But no, Skadge is just Skadge. So it's a bit of a trope here. But I mean, not really complaining. It's, you know, like, it's an entertaining thing to have. Like, he's a entertaining character, and if you're playing a dark side character, he's actually cool to have, you know. It's just if you're going for light side, then it's like, now I have to deal with this guy and have to kind of reel him in, and I can't get rid of him.
Let's get down to it.
Alright, what did we get here? Belsavis Battler jacket, but that's lower stats in every way than what we already have. And these boots are just generally boots, so are not really for our character and are for most things lower just for... Key stats, 424 armor, minus 129 if we get the new ones. Yeah, that's not useful. Okay, that's another companion gift that we'll keep. And what's this? Gloves. Okay, but they're also not for our character. So I guess that's it. Okay, maybe this is a good spot to take a quick break, and then we'll be back and continue this quest and find out what Skadge wants. I mean, this is basically the quest that originally brought us to Belsavis, and the rest is mostly planetary quest. So this is nice to be continuing this quest. I had almost forgotten why we were here. Alright, so see you in about 5 minutes, and I have some clips in the meantime. Ooh. Don't turn around if you wanna see my heart breaking. Ooh. There's a light over at the Frankenstein place. He's a looping, tootin', shootin' Texas cowboy. But this Lone Ranger's never seen a horse.
What if I never get to come home again?
Everyone gets scared. It passes. Amara's your sister.
And home is often a person, and not a place. I will swallow my fear. Thank you for this. For helping an old man.
Fear is the mind killer. I will swallow my fear and let it pass through me. No, wait, that came out wrong.
Reading a temperature decrease.
Thanks, Sam.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits.
Thanks, Sam.
We need to figure out how to get behind this wall. Scan might help.
Rub it often to measure your progress towards true bliss.
Oh boy, a pet unicorn! I shall call him Horny.
Oh my, how lewd.
It works much better if you actually manage to push the button soon enough.
In the name of love.
Stop. In the name of love. Before you break my heart. Okay, I guess we have to sail away, sail away, sail away. Do 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 the Addams Family. Do 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 dum. Do do dum.
Swiss cheese has holes, which are, like air bubbles that, just occur during making the cheese. And in the US, basically, there is a rule for, like excess packaging and, like misleading customers that restricts the amount of, like air that can be contained in cheese. And so there was a big problem, at some point at least, where like Swiss cheese usually would exceed that regulation, and so they weren't allowed to import Swiss cheese. And I think even to this day, Swiss cheese can be is a special version with smaller bubbles in them in the US, when made for the US.
Okay,
Let me do
let's
the
try
honor
this.
of breaking Ragnar's shield wall.
I hope you will. Let me now prepare the shield wall. Lord Ragnar, will this be the day? Stand fast, warrior. And if Loki...
Whoa. Heal. Oh. Whoa. Okay, that didn't work well. Little sister, you're all that I know, and I dream of the sea, broken machinery, and I dream of the sea. There's no rapture for me.